I'm Ben with IWS and welcome to the 2026 Newmar Supreme Aire, Newmar's benchmark coach for quality, performance, and comfort. I couldn't be more excited to get in front of the camera today to show you the all-new Supreme Aire. This is the first time in a long time that I can remember a manufacturer doing a complete refresh. Newmar has changed the game with the Supreme Aire with new chassis, new options across the board. This is something that you're not going to want to miss out on. In case you don't have a lot of time, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know up front in the video, but stick around. This is going to be a long one. We're going to leave chapters below so you can see exactly what you want to see. The Supreme Aire is Newmar's most configurable model in the Super C lineup. And I say that because of just how many different options there are. Starting with the chassis choices, the floor plan choices, bunk over the cabs, paint choices. There's definitely a Supreme Aire out there that's perfect for you. Perfect example is the two that I have behind me today. They couldn't be more different. We have a 3827 model, which is 38 foot overall with a bunk over the cab. And then we also have a 43-foot tandem axle with an aerodynamic fiberglass cap over the top. The Supreme Aire now features the Freightliner P4 Cascadia chassis, and there's two different variants of it. The Cascadia 116 with the Detroit DD13 engine, 525 horsepower and 1850 foot-pounds of torque. And then we have the Cascadia 126 with the DD16 engine with 600 horsepower and 1850 foot-pounds of torque as well. Both have the Detroit DT12 automated manual transmission. There's 5 different floor plans to choose from for 2026. Starting with the shortest available, which is the 38 foot, and then the longest we have available is a 45 foot. Reminder, this gray one behind me is 43 foot. Depending on which floor plan you choose determines which chassis you get. So for example, there's 2 floor plans available, the 38 foot and the 41 foot options that come with the Cascadia 116 with 525 horsepower, and those are all single rear axle. When we start at 43 foot, which is the next size up, you're gonna get the tandem axle Cascadia 126 with 600 horsepower, and you get the same when you go to 45 foot. Pricing for the Supreme Aire starts with the 38 foot variant at $683,000 MSRP. But what's so awesome about Newmar is they give you 70 plus different options to choose from so that you can really a la carte the things that you want and maybe what you don't want. For example, both of these units have over $100,000 in different options that we chose on them because these are our top of the line coach in our Super C lineup that we offer. One of the most exciting changes for 2026 is we are now offering the Supreme Aire with a bunk over the cab sleeping area, as well as the aerodynamic cap that we already love. Going into why I think the Supreme Aire is so versatile is because you used to be tied to Newmar only being able to have an aero cap, so your sleeping options were tied to what type of furniture I have. But now with this extra bunk, I can sleep more people and I can store more things. On top of those major changes, some of the key options that we love that are offered on the Supreme Aire are going to include the Onyx blackout package, which I have on both of these. Makes the coach look absolutely badass. We also have heated tile floors. We have 14 different cabinet configurations, different interior choices, custom flooring available. We have Starlink. We have all different types of TV options if you want them. There's even a $100,000 custom paint option now with the 45 foot Supreme Aire through their artisan graphics package. So if you want something completely unique that's never going to be done again, Newmar can do that for you. This coach really sets the benchmark in the Super C lineup. And now that's going to wrap it up for our quick overview. If you love our IWS style where we go really long in depth, go ahead and stick around for a while longer because we're going to get really in detail about this new Supreme Aire. The term Super C gets labeled on a lot of different motorhomes nowadays. There's some Ford F550 out there that gets labeled as Super C. I can tell you at IWS, we've been doing this for a long time. When we think Super C, this is what we're talking about. And this is really where it started for, I would say the Super C industry is a Class 8 semi-truck chassis like the Freightliner Columbia of the old days, and now the Freightliner Cascadia. We call this our Signature Series chassis. So this is what my family personally owns on their personal coach, is the Cascadia. We think this is the best choice you can make for a Super C. Some of the reasons we say that: number one is it's our best driving performance coach out there. We have 525 horsepower all the way up to 600 horsepower. This is the coach that if you want no excuses for power, this is it. This is hands down the best choice. We have 20,000 pound to 40,000 pound towing capacities, single rear axle, tandem rear axles. But more or less, I think those of you that are interested in this, you just want something that is going to be excellent to drive. The last thing you want to do when you get in your motorhome is really not enjoy the driving experience or be making excuses for when I want to pass somebody and I'm pulling a trailer or pulling my small tow vehicle. The last thing I want to do is have to be planning when I can make that pass. I know a lot of you, especially at this price point, want to be extremely comfortable. The Cascadia is our quietest, most comfortable just riding experience. Something unique to Newmar that they offer is an air ride cab. So this is floating on an air ride cab system. But even without that, the Cascadia drives amazing. It has collision mitigation features like adaptive cruise control, adaptive brake assist, lane departure warning, blind spot monitoring system. So this is one of our safest chassis that we have to offer as well. Let's talk about the two different Cascadia options for the Supreme Aire. I think it's best to start at this one. Remember, this is the 3827 floor plan. This is the Cascadia 116 chassis. A quick pause there just for education purposes. The 116 refers to the length from the back of the chassis cab all the way to the front of the hood, okay? So that's the Cascadia 116. This one right here is the Cascadia 126. So it's 10 inches longer than this one. Why the size difference? Well, the Cascadia 116 is a shorter nose, right? It has the Detroit 12.9 liter engine, the DD13, which features 525 horsepower and 1850 foot-pounds of torque. The Cascadia 126, remember, 10 inches longer, can fit more things in it, or a larger something, which the larger something is a 15.9 liter engine, the DD16, 600 horsepower, also 1850 foot-pounds of torque. Automatically, I think you would say, well, yeah, just give me the most amount of horsepower. Well, I can tell you, the Cascadia 116 with the DD13, this is an amazing powertrain, and we actually prefer this powertrain choice in Cascadia 116 in this size of coach, the 38 foot to 41 foot length, because there's some trade-offs that happen when you go to a longer nose coach like this. You're automatically 10 inches longer, your wheelbase extends, right? So my turning radius can reduce a little bit. But this is designed for a few people in mind. Number one, the 38 foot variant is, I'd say, maybe our most popular, Super C we offer. That's a really nice size for most people. And this power is excellent for that size. 20,000 pound towing capacity, like this thing can do, there's no power limitations to this thing at all. I've had people drive these thinking that they're the 600 horse. You'd be BSing me if you could tell me that you know the difference between the two. But a lot of that has to do with, this is 38 foot, this one's 43, and there's 45 foot. Put it in example, this one weighs 36,000 pounds. This one right here weighs 41,000 pounds, right? So we have a 5,000 pound difference. So automatically you probably want a little bit more power for that weight. When you go to something with tandem axle as well, we are now thinking, well, I have more weight already on the coach, and then you're probably going tandem because maybe you do want to tow something maybe a little bit heavier than 20,000 pounds. So what I'm trying to wrap all this around is that I would make my choice on chassis based off of my lifestyle and my overall length that I want to be, right? Because I can get up to 41 foot in this one, and I can get up to 45 foot in this one. So maybe the Floorplan is actually your number one choice. If you want the biggest coach we offer, you're gonna get this chassis no matter what. If you wanna stay really short and compact and you just want a great driving experience, this is the one for you. I wanna take some time to compare the differences between a single rear axle coach and a tandem rear axle coach. So I'm standing right in front of the tandem axle Supreme Aire. And oftentimes, most of the questions I get are, should I go single axle? Should I go tandem axle? And I think it's maybe one of the most confusing things when buying a motorhome. Number one, to put your mind at ease, depending on what floor plan you choose is going to determine which axle setup you get, right? So 38 to 41 foot in the Supreme Aire, you're going to get the single rear axle. There's no option to get tandem on that. When we're talking about the 43 foot to 45 foot, you're always going to get the tandem axle, okay? But some people are they might want to decide their choice because of tandem or single. I've seen that happen. The reason to go single axle, I think, is because you want the absolute best turning radius possible. You want the most amount of storage space available. And you're maybe just not towing that much, right? There's still 20,000 pound towing on the Supreme Aire on a single rear axle, which is a ton. But tandem axle, here's what happens. We go from a 41,000 pound GVWR on the single rear axle all the way up to 58,000 pound GVWR, which stands for gross vehicle weight rating. So this truck is now capable of hauling 58,000 pounds. And like I mentioned earlier, it weighs 41,000 pounds. So there's 17,000 pounds of payload or carrying capacity, whatever you want to call it, which really just increases the capability of this truck. On top of payload, we then increase towing capacity. This chassis I know is capable of 40,000 pounds towing. The hitch that's on it is rated for 30,000. So automatically we just jump up a level in towing capability, right? And towing confidence. Our recommendation at IWS is like the stacker trailers, the big stackers, double stacker trailers. We would recommend towing a stacker with a tandem rear axle, hands down. Like day in and day out, a tandem should be your best choice for a humongous trailer like that. A single rear axle can do it. It has plenty of power to do it, but you're getting really tight on your capacities for what your tongue weights are, etc. So if you're a racer or if you're somebody who's got a big trailer, tandem axle is definitely our recommendation. Now that we talked about the benefits of single axle and tandem axle, we're gonna go ahead and move this one out of the way and we're gonna focus on the 3827 bunk model today. Okay, now that we have the gray one out of here, I wanted to focus on the exterior styling of the Supreme Aire, specifically on the 3827 here, because it has the all-new bunk. We're actually the first ones to get this, and I'm really proud to share it with you because, number one, I think Newmar just did an excellent job with the styling of it. I think it's a huge challenge to try to make a bunk over the cab look good. And they could have easily just put a square on it. You see a lot of really, really basic looking cab over bunks, but with this one, you can see there's design to it. They put the glass over the top of it to make it kind of a skylight effect, which we'll show you more inside. But really, I think they just knocked it out of the park in the styling of the bunk. After that, I think the rest of the coach is impeccable. We think Newmar has the best paint in the entire industry. Now, this one we did in all white because honestly, that's one of our personal favorite options, but also our customers as well. It looks great. It looks like I guess what you would call a traditional Super C. I think it just gives you that really commanding road presence. And it's also a lot easier to keep clean, keeps you a little bit cooler, but it just looks classic to me. I briefly mentioned it, but we also have the Onyx package, and that is a blackout package, and a lot of manufacturers will have some sort of blackout package, but they just do the wheels and they look like they're powder coated and that's about it. Newmar does so many nice touches with the Onyx package. Like on this Cascadia, you get the grille, the wheels, the mirror covers, you know, the grille bezels, all the handles, and then throughout the side of the coach, you'll see like the Supreme Aires in black, the Newmar logos in black, the door handles are black. I mean, those are just the little things that Newmar pays attention to because it's an entire package you're getting with this Supreme Aire. It's got to look the part, it's got to drive the part, and you know, the inside when we get into it is definitely worth the price of admission as well. Another example of their attention to detail that I think they do just about better than anybody else is the transition from the cap, or the bunk I should say, with the awnings all the way to the rear spoiler at the back of the coach. Their rear fiberglass cap really is a signature for Newmar. When you're going down the road and you're in a sea of motor coaches, when you are behind a Newmar, you know it, because that is just an absolute work of art in the back of the coach. Something that we really want you to feel comfortable about before making a purchase is, what energy system do I need in my motor coach to go out and do the things that I want to do? The way that we order all of our motorhomes, we try to look at it as if, like, what would we do if it was our own personal coach? So the Supreme Aire, like this one we're looking at today, we ordered it with the 640 amp hour lithium system from Newmar, and the standard, you get AGM batteries. We feel very passionate that you should get lithium on a coach like this. And we think 640 amp hours is a appropriate size for, I would say, you know, 90% of the universe out there. Like, that is going to get you to be able to run the coach overnight, do the things that you want to do, and then recharge the next day. So that means opening the fridge all day, all that you want, being able to run TVs, hair dryers, like pretty much just live in the coach for a full 24 hours, living very comfortably. Of course, you could also be conservative with that and extend that out, but that just kind of gives you a good range. You know, every lithium system is expandable. This one, we could go up even more if we wanted to. So, you know, give us a call. We could talk about what's important to you and like how long you want to be able to go and what you want to do. We also are speccing this coach with 3 200 watt solar panels. Those are IWS installed. We have a really cool solar package that we're putting on this coach. I didn't have time to put it on today, but we're going to put those on soon. But from there, we have, you know, we're going to have solar, we have lithium, but we also have 2 3,000 watt Victron inverters. And 2 3,000 watt inverters is great for better charging efficiency. It's going to help with load management. But I think my favorite feature about 2 inverters is that we have one of these wired to the front air conditioner. So that means you're going to be able to run your air conditioner on battery for about 4 to 6 hours. And what we love about that, you know, like, we're dog lovers here at IWS. Like, when we take our coach, we bring our dogs with us, our border collies. And if we're going to, you know, leave for a little while, we don't want to have to run our generator in order to keep the coach cool, right? So running that on battery is an absolute game changer for, you know, my dogs being there. Or, like, a good example would be, let's say I'm at a RV park or maybe a racetrack that has quiet hours, right? So past like 10 o'clock at night, maybe you can't run your generator. Well, in the heat of summer, especially here in Idaho, even at 10 o'clock at night, it might be still 90 plus degrees outside. So you're still going to want to run a little air conditioning. With this, you're able to do that and just kind of keep you cool overnight. Another benefit is that we have the alternator and the solar panels charging the batteries when I'm going down the road. So I can keep my temperature in the coach cool while I'm traveling to my destination. So that way I don't have to work so hard to cool off the coach when I actually get to my campsite. So sorry I'm going long on that, but it's important to know that when you buy a coach like this, the energy systems that are spec'd on it are well thought out. Too often, I think dealers or manufacturers don't think about, you know, what you're actually going to go do with it, and they just do it to kind of check a box. This is a really well thought out system. So I just talked about what you can do with the coach without a generator, but now I want to talk about what you can do with this big generator. So on the 38 and 41 foot floor plans, you get 2 air conditioners, and that's why you get an 8,000 watt or 8 kilowatt Cummins Onan diesel generator. When you go to the larger coaches that have 3 air conditioners, that's when we would see an upsize in generator to the 12.5 kilowatt Jenny. But the 8,000 is an absolute tank. It is more than capable to run everything you need to run in this coach, run both air conditioners, be able to run everything you need in the coach. And this is actually a Kubota tractor engine. So this thing's rated to just run thousands and thousands of hours, rain, snow, you know, this thing is designed to get beat up. In fact, when you read the owner's manual, it tells you to run it for a couple hours rather than 30 minutes. So we have a great, 12 volt battery system, lithium, if you don't want to run your generator, but man, those times when you need to, you got something completely bulletproof. Not only is energy systems important for dry camping, but your water capacity is important. The Supreme Aire features 150 gallons of fresh water, 60 gallons of gray water, and 40 gallons of black water capacity. Just to put it in perspective for some of you that maybe just new, 150 gallons of fresh water should be able to give 2 people the ability to shower every night reasonably comfortably for about 7 to 8 days. So that's just a ton of water with the Supreme Aire. We love having that much on board. I want to take a closer look at the water management bay because Newmar's done a really nice job of making it look really good, but also be super functional for you. A couple key features. Newmar's use the electric black and gray tank valves. So instead of having to pull a valve manually, you just simply press those switches and then your waste just dumps out right here. We have an inline fresh water filter. We have an outdoor shower. We also have a hose that's on a power wind reel here. Very nice touch. And then we also have our water pump back here. So everything is really easy to access if you have a leak or something that you need to work on. I think, Newmar did a great job of making it look good, but also super functional. So to wrap all that up, I would tell you that the energy systems, the water systems, these things all work in combination to just come down to one thing, which is no compromises. When you're using this coach at this price bracket, we want you to be able to go use this thing days on end without having to worry about water, without having to worry about my battery capacity. When do I need to charge? No, these things are built to go on the road. You have an overbuilt chassis, overbuilt energy system, overbuilt water system. Go out, enjoy this thing in any condition that you want. One of the things we were most excited about with Newmar joining the Super C industry was they were going to take things from the Class A industry that are really good and bring them over to the Super C. The biggest part of that was exterior storage, because honestly, I think exterior storage has been just lacking innovation over the years, and Newmar's completely changed the game. So starting with, all their doors are just much taller than you'll see on most Super C products. The Supreme Aire also features power locks. And then what's new for 26 is they've upgraded the lock system, so the doors are easier to shut and open as well. But not only are they powered and they're taller, but Newmar is one of the fewest competitors that will do a 3/4 pass-through, and on some models even a full pass-through. So this compartment, for example, that I'm showing off, you could put a small ladder, fishing rods, rifles, skis, snowboards, whatever longer pieces in here. One of the best innovations Newmar's done is this rear fiberglass cap storage. Pull this lever, this comes up, and then I have all this shelving right here, so I can put, I like putting like DeWalt tools here or just extra oils, what have you. And on the 38 footer, you lose access to being able to put something way deep here, but like on the 43 footer, you get a nice big long section here for extra storage for longer things. But love this design, and it comes standard on every single Newmar Super C. I'm on the passenger side of this Supreme Aire, and I'm just going to talk about a lot of features that come on the Supreme Aire and some options. Starting with the 360-degree OmniView camera system. This is a total game changer in the Super C world. When you have a big truck like this, having a 360-degree top-down view, bird's eye view of your coach makes it so much nicer when you're trying to back into a parking space, pull into that RV park, and just give you multiple angles to be able to see what's going on around this thing. Moving on down the line, you'll see that we have 2 Girard awnings here. That's not a standard. That's $10,000 just in awnings here. But we did it because we wanted to be able to give you awning coverage for the full length of the coach. So these come out and they angle down as well. So if you're at a racetrack, it's 100 degrees out, we want to just provide you with maximum coverage with your awnings. And they do have motion sensors on them, so they come in automatically. We like to order all of our Supreme Airs with extra exterior lighting, starting with these scene lights here up at the top. We have 2 on this side, 2 on the driver's side, and 1 out the back. And that just gives you a, essentially a full perimeter view of your coach. And they're all individually switched. So if you hear a bump in the night, being able to turn this thing on, light it up, very comforting. A Newmar staple is this exterior door. So many coaches will have a exterior egress window, but Newmar actually does a full-size door here. This goes to your mid bath, and we'll show it more inside. But being able to just open up a full door, ladder collapses down, way safer and much easier to get out of in case of an emergency. Every Supreme Aire comes standard with an exterior entertainment center. And this has a 2-stage opening system here. So I can angle it down for if there's a glare, or open it wide open like this. A lot of people ask me, why do they put it down here? Number one, they do it because they don't want to take away your interior storage space. But secondly, because when you're actually sitting down at the campsite, you're going to be sitting down in a chair. So this is just a lot, a better, proper viewing angle. A lot of you go, hey, I'm never going to use the TV. Totally understand. There's also a Bluetooth soundbar here, so it's really nice when you're at the racetrack or at the campground, be able to listen to some tunes. Okay, before we head in to do the interior tour, those of you that follow us know that I love talking about doors because there's a lot to talk about actually. Newmar's door is unique, one, because they do a wider one, and it's also a little bit taller than most, but I think it's just the stoutest door we offer. It's kind of one of those things that you need to come and experience, but this is a really thick door, and we're in a kind of a windy day today, but this is something that can survive an Idaho wind, and it's not going to flex on me a bunch. Some of these RV doors, man, are not very good. This is an excellent door. And then, Newmar is thinking about you. I keep saying that because the entry steps in here are great. I mean, look how low this step is. It's not, many RVs only have this second one, or they're just not thinking about, some of you that have knee problems, etc. Like, this is a lot easier to get into. We have a grab handle here that's lighted, electric keypad here, so I can go keyless entry. And per our recommendation, we work with Newmar closely, they added another grab handle inside here. So just a very nice transition into the Supreme Aire. So with that, since I'm already in here, let's go ahead and do an interior tour. Okay, time to tour the interior of the Supreme Aire. I got the heat running right now, so it's nice and cozy. And like we start with all interior tours, we start with the slides in so you can see what it's like to live with it. I'm standing at the middle of the coach, and you're gonna see this walkway here is still very doable. I don't even have to turn to be able to get through it. So if you have dogs traveling with you, cats, whatever, easy for them to get through. And then if you have people traveling with you, somebody can sit here. There is a seat belt here. This particular coach has theater seats, so I can still sit here nice and comfortably, no problem. But the kitchen is fully accessible. All my cabinet space here, so easy for me to make lunch when I stop at the rest area. Can also access my bathroom, no problem, just like so. Fridge and pantry, and then I can also get to the bedroom. I'll show it to you later, but this particular floor plan, the bed is actually in a tilted position, so you could take a nap back there, but the bed isn't fully extended. You have to slide the slide out to make that work. Okay, So with that, let's go ahead and open this thing all the way up so we can really go in depth about it. Okay, now that we got all the slides opened up, I want to point out that we are in the 3827 floor plan today, showing that off. But all Newmar Supreme Airs, regardless of floor plan choice, are going to have at least 3 slides. Something here on the passenger side in the front, and then you always are going to be with a full wall slide. This is a Newmar signature piece, is this full wall slide. It goes all the way the full length of the coach. And then we have a bedroom slide out, of course. So this is signature Newmar. When you slide all these slides out, you can just feel the openness of the floor plan. You know, most RVs in this area are always somewhat of a hallway, but you can really just see how much open space I have here. And this is a shorter floor plan, the 38, and I think that's where you can really appreciate that extra space is, you know, this is designed to be kind of a compact coach, but man, when I get to my destination, I just feel like I'm in total luxury here. When you walk into a Newmar, you feel it. You know you're in a Newmar, if that makes sense. And just some key things to point out is just their crown molding, everything that you're gonna touch in this coach has some sort of finish to it. It has edge, it has design. They have a really big design staff where I think most manufacturers in the RV industry don't focus on design as much as they maybe focus on engineering, where Newmar has both engineering and then of course interior design. But they use thick countertops, they use all real maple wood, dovetail construction, soft closed drawers. You know, even like if you look at like the top of the slide out, they're really focused on, you know, they have some curvature to it. This is a really, really high-end piece, and you can feel that from the moment you walk in. If you're considering ordering a Supreme Aire, I mentioned earlier in the video, there's a lot of different interior and cabinet choices. So to give you some perspective, what we're looking at today is the Sedona glazed maple cabinet color. So that's this nice, I would say a very traditional brown color. And we did this in a high glaze maple sheen. So it's going to have a little bit higher gloss to it. You can also choose more of a satin finish, more of a matte finish. And then we also have an option to do a two-tone. You'll see a lot of our other Newmars have that, where we'll do like the Sedona down here, but then you'll get a white cabinet. So there's really a design package in cabinets for you that looks very modern or something traditional. We're also looking at the Brighton interior decor, which is going to give you this nice countertop color. It's got some brown in it, and we wanted to have that in this coach. We just wanted a more classic traditional feel. And then you're going to get this color of interior. And just speaking on furniture while I'm here in the Brighton, this is a really, really nice furniture piece from Newmar. You can see the stitching here. It's thick. This doesn't feel like something that's going to wear out on you. You feel like this is going to last at least the test of time while you have the coach. And then when you come over to this side of the coach, you'll see like that stitching and attention to detail all come over. And you can see this countertop material they put into the furniture, which I think is really nice. And then you can see the window here, valance, has a nice fabric to it with a mirror design. I mean, everything has a look and a finish to it. I love what Newmar's done here. A big part of the interior design of the coach is the floor. It actually takes up, you would say, most of the living space. And so it's a huge piece to get right. On this coach, we actually opted for the King Aire flooring. So the King Aire is in their Class A lineup, and it is the top of the line. It's a couple $1 million coach. We absolutely fell in love with this floor. It looks like hardwood, but it's actually a tile flooring. That's something to just pump up Newmar a little bit, is that a coach like this, you can actually customize and build one-off things that you want. So if you call us and you say, hey, I really like this, but you know what, I'm not in love with this countertop. I saw one that I really liked. That's something you can do with us and Newmar, is really build your custom coach with pieces that they have. And with this tile flooring, that was a perfect example of what we did with this one. While I'm talking about floor, I can feel it underneath my feet right now. It's, 30 degrees right now. It's getting chilly in Idaho, and I have the floor heat running, and it is just wonderful. It's about a $10,000 option on the Supreme Aire, but man, I would not have a Supreme Aire without this heated tile floor. At the beginning of this video, I said the Supreme Aire is the most configurable coach that Newmar has to offer. I want to back that up with talking about the floor plan choice. Again, we're in the 3827, and this is our favorite combination across the years we've been selling these big Super Cs, which is doing a theater seat like this. These are powered, and an opposing dinette, because these are hands down the most comfortable seats we can offer. Standard, you're going to get a hide-to-bed sofa, which is great because it'll, fold out and make an extra sleeping area. But prior to 2026, if you wanted to bring an extra person with you or a grandkid, what have you, you had to pick the sofa to get extra sleeping because the dinette area is really kind of only good for, really small kids or what have you. But now with this bunk over, I have extra sleeping and storage. And when I'm looking at this is the first time we're seeing the new bunk design, and I love what they did. I have this piece folded up, and this is designed for when you're at camp and maybe loading the coach, but I have all this headroom here. It makes it really nice. And then when I'm ready to go to take a drive or go to sleep, I just simply fold it down here. We have a collapsible ladder that hooks on right here. And this is about equivalent size to a full-size mattress. It's a little bit bigger than that, but it's still 80 inches long. But Newmar's done a great job of adding extra lighting in here. And it is black inside, so it is nice when you are ready to go to sleep. I think it's a really comfortable environment. There's extra charging. There's heating and AC there. We also have the skylight here with a powered shade. So a very, very versatile bunk area that I think is well thought out. And it completely opens the options for you if you were looking at a Supreme Aire, but you just knew, I don't want to have to make a sacrifice between theater seats and a hide-to-bed sofa. Transitioning to talk about sleeping area, want to discuss this Eurobooth Dinette. We love this, and we optioned it on this Supreme Aire. The Eurobooth is designed for 90% of you that it's just going to be you and your partner, where it's really easy to sit down at, and it's comfortable. It's got curvature to it, and it's really easy just for two of you to have dinner or to have lunch. But when you do have guests over, it's really easy to slide this out to make a full-size table. And then we have table leaves that go in here. And underneath the coach, we have our padded chairs that go right here. So you can really make a decision on storage if you want to bring your chairs with you for longer stays or if you have people over. But for the most part, when it's just going to be you guys, this makes it a lot more livable. In some of the other floor plans, like the 43-footer, you can do a sleeper dinette here instead. If you want even more sleeping, it just makes the booth a little bit bigger and makes that walkway just a little bit narrower. So some choices there. For entertainment in this area, we have our 55-inch TV. They call it a televator, which I think is an awesome name. But we have this here, and then we also have a Bluetooth soundbar here. And then in these cabinets, we have some of your audio and video sections where you can plug in an Apple TV, or if you do want to watch satellite TV, you can hook up your receiver boxes here. And it might be a good point for me to talk about that. Again, this has Starlink on board, so we have high-speed internet built into the coach, and then you can connect that Starlink to any of the smart devices on this to be able to use while going down the road or at your campsite. Another great design element from Newmar is the powered window shades, and this is actually an option. It's about $5,000, but with the touch of a button, I can easily raise all my window shades, and there are day and night shades on power. And we had the shades down because it just helps with lighting in the video, but there is a full perimeter that I just love in this coach. They do big window in the entry door. This really opens up. So when I'm at a beautiful park and I just want to experience everything around me, you just get a full panoramic view. We also get lots of ventilation. So if I'm in a nice area where I got a cool morning breeze, I can open up my windows, turn on my fans above my head, and then I can just really circulate that fresh air coming through. Just a wonderful feature on the Supreme Aire. I think Newmar has some of the best kitchen design in the entire industry. No matter what floor plan you choose, all the kitchens are going to be essentially the same. They make their countertops extra deep so that you don't feel like you have to make a sacrifice for storing things on here while you're cooking. I love that they put a window here. It really opens it up when you are cooking to be able to see out your window. We have a convection microwave oven, and this is also an air fryer too, which if you're a millennial, seems like every day you're using the air fryer. So I love that feature. We have nice overhead cabinets here. The sink, they have two covers, but it is a large, single bowl sink, which I think this is getting more and more popular, just to have a big stainless steel sink. These covers just easily go back. We have a fold up, flip up countertop just for additional space, a spot for a trash can, lots of deep storage in here, spot for your sponges and cleaning. I've already kind of pointed this out, but this is a nice silverware drawer here. Dovetail construction, more storage in here. This big spot here is a spot for a dishwasher. We did not opt for that on this one. We liked the added storage. This is a good spot for like pots and pans. Finally, just in the kitchen area, we have the induction cooktop, and on the back of these covers is a nice cutting board. So good innovation there by Newmar. But the induction cooktop, I mean, every one of these is going to get an induction cooktop, but it's a 2-burner. You use induction pans, which you can find really anywhere. And the beauty behind that is, one, they heat better, they're more efficient, they can heat up much quicker, a more even heat. And then when I take my pan off, it's actually going to be cool to the touch, or at least relatively quickly, instead of a traditional electric stove where, we've all had electric stoves. They take a long time to cool down because sometimes you're on the go and can't wait for it to cool down that long. Another innovation by Newmar with this is actually removable. So when you're at your campsite and you want to cook outside, take this out, plug it into the outside of the coach, and you can cook outside. All Supreme Aires are going to come with this 18 cubic foot Whirlpool refrigerator. And on the outside, you're going to have your water station. And then opening it up, you have kind of these doors here. And this is a residential fridge, so you would find this appliance anywhere. And it's got a water filter. It has, crisper drawers, adjustable shelving. This will feel like just something you have at home. We've had really good luck with these fridges, very efficient. And then we have a freezer here with a ice bucket here. And it's two layers, so plenty of storage for freezing. And then we have a nice lock built into it. The pantry is really large on this particular floor plan. Most people are raving about this. These are adjustable shelves, and then you just simply push on them and they come right on out. You can remove some of them if you want taller things, but Newmar just did a nice job. And even on these, they're doing dovetail construction. So attention to detail is really good there. Lock in place. Good stuff. On the passenger side here in the middle of the coach, there's a lot going on. Something to point out is the central vac down low here. There is a tray that you can flip up right here with your foot, so you can sweep stuff into it. And then you also have a tube connection here. So you can, and it goes the full length of the coach forward and back. In that bag, you can empty in your storage compartment area, and you can also vacuum your storage compartments down below. There's a connection point down there too. So that comes as an option in the Supreme Aire. Gotta have it. Moving up, we also have this. This is a new style connection piece. This is the multiplex system, and this is Newmar's proprietary technology. So this is actually Newmar. It's the Newmar app. And I think it's a really great improvement from the previous models. And I like that Newmar has control of what's going on with this, and you can actually get the Newmar app on your phone to be able to connect it. But this is where you're going to control essentially everything in your coach, such as, of course, your climate, your lighting, managing your batteries, turning on your furnace and your AC, all your lights. And it's a very intuitive system. I think anybody can hop in and use this. It's really great for power management, and then easy to connect to the Newmar app on your phone. And a quick plug for IWS. Every Supreme Aire that you buy from us, you get our IWS Advantage package, which means you're going to get a lot of things. You're going to get an iPad, and on that iPad, you can connect to the Newmar app, but we also have exclusive videos for how to operate your Newmar. We give you 24/7, 365 roadside service. We also give you a 24/7 cell phone number to us. Newmar also has a 24-hour number for them for emergencies. When you stay with us, we give you free night stays at our RV park. Just a lot of things you're gonna get so that you can buy with confidence from IWS and Newmar. Moving on to the mid-bath area, Newmar does a really cool job with this door, being able to make it feel like a real door, but the way it opens is unique. And we're gonna do our best to show you this area. It is hard for us to get on camera, but the shower is really nice. It's 40 inches by 30 inches to give you a size perspective. And I think the fit and finish they did there is really nice. And the best feature from Newmar is that the shower miser comes standard. From the shower, a couple other important things to point out is the Dometic toilet here. These are a macerator toilet. So it's simply pressing a button for it to flush. Very nice. We also have the exit door here, which I pointed out earlier in the video. So this is how you would actually open that door. There's a nice window here with a shade built in. Lots of storage spaces here with adjustable shelving. We also have a medicine cabinet here built in. We have a 110 outlet here for you to be able to plug in an electric toothbrush or hair dryer, a nice vessel style bowl sink. And I think the overall design of this is really stellar. Moving back to the back bedroom area, first thing to point out is all Supreme Aires are going to have a privacy door. And this does a great job of really making this a private area, especially if you have kids or grandkids staying over or a friend over, just being able to separate yourself, get some space, nice feeling. All Supreme Aires, you're gonna really like the bedroom area. I think it's really well thought out. This floor plan in particular has the tilting bed. And like I mentioned, we have to have it in the up position when the slides are in. But when you are set up for camp, I love having it in the tilted up position, one, to be able to read, but because I just get so much more room, for when I'm changing, or just, it just feels better in here with all this extra space. This is a rear wardrobe design model in this floor plan. So if you get something bigger, it will have like a bath and a half in the back here. But here is where you would have, I would say, a his and hers closet type setup. So you can hang clothes here. And then below here, this is a great new innovation from Newmar. They put their washing machine and their dryers in these two cabinets below. And the reason we like that is normally you would have to put your washer and dryer either in the bathroom stacked, or you'd have to take up some of this space. So you'll see in a lot of the floor plans across the board, customers are really enjoying this setup for washer and dryer. Also important to point out that these are optional. So if you would prefer not to have the washer and dryer, you would just get storage there standard. Lastly, to talk about this area, of course, we have our TV, but I love having this counter space here with a window because this is an excellent spot to like throw your keys, your wallet, purse, hats, etc. And then below it, you have extra storage for which, socks, underwear, pants, etc. So really well thought out wardrobe design here. And then here is just a ton more storage. This one we optioned in a built-in safe so that you can carry your pistol or any of your, prized possessions. Keep it safe in here when going down the road. And there is, it's hard to see, but there's actually a a hanging bar here, so there is more hanging space, you know, if you got like jackets or something that maybe you're not going to use a lot. And I'll save you the time of opening every single cabinet here, but there is just a variety of storage options here. And then just if you were curious, this is where a lot of your electrical panels are, easy to access if you have a, you know, something not working and you need to turn on a breaker or turn it off, all back here. So with the press of a button, I easily can lay the bed down, and this is a true 72 by 80 king bed, a very comfortable mattress. And then Newmar's done some nice innovations of kind of integrating nightstands with 110 outlets here. So you can charge your device. There's storage below here. We have windows here to be able to, you know, block out light. They also have a vent in them, so if you want some ventilation. And then you have storage above your head. There's 110 outlets inside of these cabinets. And then finally, we have a multiplex panel control station here that can do many of the things that you can do at the central control station, like turn on your generator, turn on lights, do a lot of things right in the comfort of your bed. A final thing to touch on in the interior before we move on to the cockpit and the driving section is insulation, cooling, four-season capability. The Supreme Aire is a full four-season coach. You can use this in -degree weather. And a big reason for that is the Oasis hydronic heating system that's on board. I didn't show it earlier, but the hydronic heating is going to do two things. It is a diesel-fired or electric-fired burner that warms up a glycol solution. And that glycol solution, when it's warmed up, goes through not through the floor, it's not a radiant floor heat, but it circulates through your coach, and behind, you'll see in the coach, there's actual heat exchangers that have a fan, and it blows the heat in. And there's also heat blowing into your water management area bay, so you don't have to worry about freezing and cold temperatures with that system on. It also doubles as your hot water. So we do have instant hot water. And like I mentioned earlier with the shower miser, you can conserve that water as well. So when you couple that, a hydronic heating system, the heated tile floor, and then the insulation, we have, you know, as good as R19 insulation in the roof, R16 insulation in the floor, bead foam insulation throughout the walls. This is an excellent insulation package, dual pane windows, just again, giving you confidence in winter conditions. Then if you're in extreme heat conditions, that insulation is going to really help keep the heat out. And then we have 15,000 BTU air conditioners. On this coach, you get 2 of them. And then on a larger coach, you're going to get 3 air conditioners. And when you couple that with the ventilation options in the windows, I think staying cool, staying warm, all very possible and very comfortable in the Supreme Aire. Okay, sitting up in the front seat of the Cascadia, number one is just my overall seating position. What we like about the Cascadia, and then also other Super Cs, but just specifically to this one, is where I'm seated, I'm a little bit more inboard than say like a traditional Class A pusher. When I'm in a Class A, I'm sitting way over the wheels, so I'm further apart from my passenger, and then I'm sitting over the top of the wheels rather than the wheels being out in front of me and my mirrors to my side. In a bus, I'm sitting over the tires, and then also the mirrors are way in front of me. It's just a different thing that not everyone's used to. I can jump in from my pickup to something like this and feel very, very comfortable. The seats in the Cascadia are upgraded. One, I'm sitting on an air ride pedestal, so I can raise and lower my seat with air. I have air lumbar support, and then these are also now ventilated and heated seats. So for a long trip, I can tell you, like, for me, I'm gonna have the ventilated seats on. My wife's always gonna have the heated seats on no matter what, so we can both stay comfortable. But so glad they added the ventilated seat. We have really good leg room here, tons of adjustability. My mirrors are electric, heated mirrors as well. Steering wheel's adjustable. Speaking of the steering wheel, we love that they've upgraded now to steering wheel controls. So no longer am I reaching over here to be able to turn on my cruise control from the outgoing Cascadia. I now have a full digital screen layout right here for my gauge cluster, but also my my navigation system and my entertainment, and I can control those here with my thumbs. And this is a Mercedes-Benz technology, so you'll see it like in the Sprinters, but it's a really smart technology that is really driver-centric. And then another reason that we say this coach is driver-centric is because of this winged dash layout. I have these things pointed towards me, which makes it just way more comfortable for me. And when you're, man, look, I just want to paint a picture for you. When you're driving down the road and you're in like, you know, heavy traffic, having these controls really easy, and when you're not reaching for everything, it makes all the difference in the world. Some other features to point out about our Cascadia spec is that they're all going to come with a rear locking differential. So you can set that right here. We can also raise and lower our suspension height for when we're leveling the coach. There's automatic leveling jacks built into the coach. And then up here, I love this camera system. It's right in the spot where your rear view mirror would be on your truck or your normal car. And I can see out the back at all times. And then I also have that 360-degree Omni view, top-down bird's eye view of the coach, which I'm sitting at a RV spot right now, and I can see if I'm lined up straight or not. And this is totally adjustable too for me to be able to set what I want to see at any given time. And that stays on, and it's not messing with my navigation layout. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us today. I appreciate you sticking with us through this whole video. I know it's long, but I know those of you that are really interested in something like this, you want to consume as much content as possible. I appreciate you following the channel. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment for us. And hey, we got some of these in stock. We have them on order. Give us a call today and we'll get you one on order. But other than that, I hope to see you out on the road.